Hi, welcome back to ODE YouTube channel and to another Friday night pen thoughts, and this will be episode number 28, and as usual we are having trouble with focusing. Sorry about that. So this is episode number 28. I guess this ink may feather a little bit on this paper. Yes, it has some bleed through. And today it is this Lisboa, 18 de agosto de 2023. And so here I am again after a long time without making another Friday night pen thoughts, which I really love to do, these kind of videos. And I have here some topics to talk about to you, because I always find these kind of interesting. And we'll start with the beginning of these videos, with the normal structure of these videos. So I will start talking about the pens for today's video. And the pens I have is this one, the Parker Centennial Duofold Pinstripe chocolate with a medium gold nib, and the ink I am using is Pelikan Edelstein Smoky Quartz. I have to say that I'm sorry if you hear some background noise of traffic or even the background of my air conditioner, but I cannot help it. This house has a lot more sounds and noises than the previous one. I can't do anything about that. So here is the Parker Centennial. It is an older edition. It is a nice one. I made the unboxing some time ago. I'll make a review. It is nice. It has these pinstripes like a suite on the acrylic. I think it's very beautiful. It was a grail pen to me. It is a limited edition. You can see it has more rings than usual, and it has a nice medium nib. Not that medium nibs are my favorite. You can see it is a medium there on the feed. These are not my kind of favorite nibs, but it was what was available, and it was quite inexpensive for what this pen is, and I'm quite happy that I got it. So it is a nice, beautiful pen. I'm very, very happy to have this one. As I told you, this is kind of a grail pen to me. The other pen that I am using today is a very recent addition to my collection and also to the fountain pen world, which is the new Jinhao, and it also has here somewhere on the cap, focus please, Dadao. Not sure what that means really. So this is the Jinhao 0919, so 1919, and this is kind of a translucent blue with a fine steel nib, which is very good nib, I would say. And it has inside one of my favorite inks ever, the Montblanc William Shakespeare. It was a limited edition. Of course, it's not available anymore. It is a red ink, and it's called Velvet Red. Let me just show you how it smears. It doesn't smear a lot because it's not too wet and the paper is quite absorbent, but you can have a look. It is a dark red, and let me just do the same here with the smoky quartz. and it is a nice brown that I would say it is a good match for the pen, and this is not a good match for this pen at all, but it was on purpose. So this is a very interesting pen, big pen, different from everything else Jinhao has been making, but it has a number 8 nib, which is a very nice thing. I like it. It's a girthy pen. So the Duofold Centennial is not a small pen. It's not also a large pen. I think it's on the large side, but not oversized pen. And you can see this is quite bigger than the Duofold. Not really in terms of length, but regarding the diameter, also the nib size is very different. Let me show you. The Jinhao is much bigger than the Parker nib, and also inside we have an oversized converter that takes lots of ink, which is a very intelligent thing to do. If you have a very big pen, why shouldn't you get a big converter inside? Okay, many people will say, but you have a big pen, you just eyedropper it. Yes, you can do that, and I think you can do that with this pen, but I don't really like eyedroppering pens. It always ends up being a mess to me, because I'm very, very clumsy, so it doesn't matter. I don't like eyedroppering. I think this was really intelligent. You have a big pen, so just make a special converter with a big capacity to have it there. Okay, this first topic is done. Let's go for the next. The next one is new pens that I got since last video. And let's just start the list. I will not write them all. I know this is about writing, but if I'll start writing everything, I prefer to show you the pens, because if I'll start writing everything, it will take too long, and I think this video will be quite long by itself, as I am planning it to be now. So what did I get since last video? Let me try to find myself in this messy table here. So I got two Jinhao. Where is the other one? Here. Two Jinhao 65. The Jinhao 65, it is an interesting pen that's really close to a Lamy CP1, or maybe Lamy Linea when we are talking about the kind of clip. It is an interesting pen. The nib, as far as I know, is interchangeable with the Lamy nib. This is an extra fine nib. I think this one is an extra fine nib also. Yes, it is. I have to be honest, I didn't use this pen yet. Sometimes I struggle with time, and not only that, but I will talk about that a little bit more next. So these are two pens that I got, still haven't inked them. I also got, still keeping ourselves in within Jinhao brand, I got also two Jinhao, because they come in pairs, two Jinhao 82, which is this interesting pen that reminds us of the Sailor Pro Gear Slim, and it is an interesting pen. One is a medium, the other is a fine cartridge converter pens. That one, the 65, also a cartridge pen like the Lamy CP1. It is an interesting pen, and I must confess that I didn't use it yet. And I also got this one that I already showed you, the Jinhao 9019, just for comparison and for fun, because they are both two-toned nib. You have there the number 8 next to the number 5 nib, just for fun. So these, I got these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Jinhao pens in my collection. Then I also had a very small pen that I enjoy a lot. I've been using it, and it's out of ink now, and I cleaned it, and I'm not using it now. because there are some other pens that I need to use. This is the Enso XS Minimalist, made of titanium. It is an interesting pen. It is a cartridge pen, very, very, very small. And I guess you know that I made a video about it. So here is the Parker Duofold. You can have an idea of how it looks. So this one, I used it, I inked it, I used it. I didn't make a review yet. I have the review of a similar one made of copper, but didn't make the review of that. I've not been making lots of reviews, mostly unboxings. Sorry about that. Then I got another pen, the Asvin or Asvine, I'm not sure how it says, how to say that, the Asvin V126. This is a beautiful pen, kind of a frosty translucent blue with a number 6 nib there, marked as fine, and it is a vacuum filler. But you guessed it, I almost didn't take it out of the box, didn't use it yet. I know if I had less pens, I've been using them more, but that's how it is. Then I also got this one, a fun one. I always like Kaweco pens. This is the Kaweco Sport in Skyline Sport in apple green. It is a special edition for, an exclusive edition for, I think you can see there, cult pens. So chrome trim, steel nib with steel collar, cartridge converter pen. It only takes those small converters by Kaweco, and it is a very nice pen. And again, not inked yet, but of course, when I have so many Kawecos as I do, sometimes it's not that important to ink them all or to test everyone that I get. So maybe I'll link it because I really like that color, but I didn't have that chance yet. Then I also got the Parker Duofold. I got a very good tip for a very well-known person in the Parker community, and he told me, look, there is one at eBay that you may like, you mentioned it once. I went there and I got it for a very good price. I'm very happy for having this nice pen. Then we have the Mahjong A2. I also recently made the unboxing video of this one, which is kind of older. Oh, focusing is a trouble, sorry. This is a kind of pilot capless or VP. Many parts are interchangeable. It's very similar to the older version of the pilot capless that had also faceted barrel. This is Mahjong or Moonman A2. So this is the pen, an interesting one, and again, not yet inked or used, but I will, because I want to make a video about retractable fountain pens. And I had two more pens that arrived. One was this one that I've been using it a lot. This is the Pilot Costume 743. It's not available in Europe, just available in the United States, but because Appleboom has a store in United States and in Europe, you could get this pen here. So it was nice because we can skip all those costume taxes that we get here in Portugal, and they're all very high. So it is an interesting pen because I wanted, I thought I would get a fine, but then I got an extra fine. They told me it would come sooner, so I went for it, and I'm quite happy. It's very, very fine, really fine. You can see it doesn't have, it is inked, it is dirty with ink, and I've been using it. It's really fine. Usually I make my notes for this video, or else I write during the video on this right page, but I use the left page to make the notes for the video that I'm doing in the day. Oh, this focusing is a mess. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry about this. I don't know what I can do, but you can see this is written with the Pilot Extra Fine and this is the Parker medium and the Jinhao fine. You can see the difference between the line width between all these pens. So this Pilot Extra Fine is really fine pen. It was my first Pilot Extra Fine pen ever, and I wouldn't say it is the pen that I would prefer to write with every time, because I think it's a little too fine even for me, but for some special uses I like to use it. But I wouldn't use it for writing a novel, for example. But for some other stuff I would use it for sure. And finally, the last pen that I got, and I showed you the unboxing yesterday or today. I'm a little bit messed up because I'm doing this late. This is the new Wingsung 630, which is a very similar pen to a Montblanc 140 Masterstock 149, but it doesn't have the logo of the Montblanc there. It has the engraving saying that it is a Wingsung, of course, but it is a piston filler pen. It has the brass components there, like the Montblanc. You can have a similar window, ink window, or you could get a completely transparent ink window. And then I have here a fine number 8, I think, steel nib. But it is a very interesting pen. It is also available with gold nib, so it's very similar to a Montblanc. Let me just show you the nib on the Jinhao, and the nib on the Wingsung appears to be bigger. The feel of this pen is very similar with the Montblanc. Fortunately, they are not faking a Montblanc. They are just using the same overall look. The clip is a little bit different, but sometime I read that if you would flash a very bright light through the Montblanc resin, it would be red, and it would be a way to tell apart. And if you do that with this pen, it will be red also, the light that comes through. So I'm not worried about this pen as it is, because it's not, of course it is heavily inspired, it is a copy, whatever, but I talked about these pens usually copy themselves over and over time, and it's not a modern thing, or it's not only a Chinese thing. Be aware of that. But what I'm thinking about is that now they have a big pen with a piston filler. Maybe if someone could get the parts, maybe with the blank engraving, maybe they could try to fake some pens, and it would be bad. So this is available for 45 euros with the steel nib, and I don't know, 200 euros with a gold nib. Very much less expensive than a similar Montblanc. So this may be an interesting case in the future for us to see how it goes. I'm not sure what it will bring. I know many people, I can't understand why it can focus. This is so clear. It's so obvious what he has to focus. So many people buy this pen because of the logo there. So I think it's mainly a brand thing. And I usually don't think these kind of pens will steal customers from the other ones, but this one is so close that I'm not sure, because the price difference is really big. And you ask me, Montblanc could make it cheaper. Yes, they could also make it cheaper. I'm not saying that cheap, but they can make it cheaper. But they are branded as a luxury brand, so they really intend to sell it more expensive. But this is some other stuff that I will talk about one day, if you think that's an interesting theme for some videos. Now, okay, almost 20 minutes now. Let's talk about something else. And that's very difficult for me to talk about this, which is future videos. And what can I talk about future videos is can't promise anything. I've been a mess regarding my organization. I will talk about that, but all has been a mess. I cannot promise that I will make lots of videos, and that I can't say. I'm thinking about recording a video about my whole Kaweco sport collection, and that's one thing that I want to do, but I'm not promising because I cannot be sure. And if I do that video, I have to think how to do it, because I did it 2 years ago, and I had I think around 150 Kaweco sport pens, and I'm only focusing on the sport pens, on sport model. And I took it was about 1.5 hours video just showing every pen in the collection, because I know some people want to see the pen and the difference between that color and the other one, and the feed and the nib. It's not, of course, 1 hour video or 1.5 hour video for about one model is not for the general fountain pen people. It's for specific Kaweco collectors, and they are interested in all those details. But now that I have 200, will I spend 2 hours straight talking about all the pens and all the variations? I need to think about that. I need to find a good balance, and I'll need to think about that. But I really want to do that because I think that update is useful. I try to make a website with the organization of all the Kaweco information that I have, but it's very hard to maintain. It all takes a lot of energy, and I know that a video like that at least allows for some people to go there and extract some information that they need for completing their own collections. So this is it. Now, the next topic, and it is about what is going on, and about what's going on in my life, and what's going on about pens and how I see stuff and all that. So for this part, I will need to zoom out a little bit. Okay, here I am again, zoomed out, so you can see all of this. And let me take this out of the way. I want to show you something that is about what's going on in my life. I guess I talked before that I love photography as well. So I just want to share this with you. Maybe you're not interested in this, and I understand that perfectly because it's not about pens, but it's about photography. I thought that it was time to really have the sense or the idea that I'm really doing something and organizing a little bit of what I like in some way. So I decided to make kind of a magazine, my own production, let's call it that way, about a photo project that I had, that I decided to do. It was something that was in my head, and it is a photo series that is called Something Sad About Sadness, as you may see there. And it is just a very small edition that I made, and it is only 15 units that I created. And this is something that it was really important to me, because I had the idea for the title many time ago. Someday I may talk about this in the channel if you think you would like to go on this side of stuff. I think it was interesting, and I really wanted to make this, and I did it, and I created the series that I wanted, and in a way it was also a way to do other things too. I have some people that are really important in my life. One of those people is Ruth, a very dear friend, and she's my friend for 25, 26 years, I'm not sure. I really like her, and she's almost like a sister to me, and I thought it would be really, really interesting to have the opportunity to have something that was, I'm not sure how you say that in English, but to me, in Portuguese, to try to say, to translate it directly, to be dedicated to her. And this is something that I did, and I liked it a lot. I'm not saying that I like the quality of my photos, and I decided to do it both in English and Portuguese, both languages here, and I decided to create this. This is about kind of a world of decay, and as I was saying, it is not only that part, it's also an emotional part of it. So in a way I have Ruth, which is a dear friend. I had a colleague, Susanna, writing some words about this work, and she's an amazing person. I really love her, and it was very important to have her here inside this magazine. She's one of the most important people in the world to me. And then I tried to put this. Now there is an ambulance there on the street. And so these are photos of kind of a decay in some places, in some abandoned places here in Lisbon. They're not really abandoned at all or completely, but some parks and some places. And I decided, the idea is like, imagine the world of fairy tales. Yes, my ugly handwriting. Imagine a world of fairy tales, and then try to look at them after the fairy tale is over. What remains there? Another very important thing is in this photo that I like this photo. I'm not trying to be too proud of my work, because I know I'm not that good photographer. I take a lot of joy from it, but I know that I'm not that good. I call this photo, I'm not sure if it is on screen, I think it is, Hopelessness. And this is my cousin, Patricia, also a very important person in my life. So it's quite interesting, because this video goes around some very important women that were in my life, and this is the ugliest photo here, and some people don't like it, like my dear friend Susanna, who wrote these, and she helped me decide the photos for this series, to choose the 21 images that got the final cut, and she didn't choose this one. She hated this one, but I had to put it here. And finally I have here the way that I can say people that how they were really important for me to get this done. And to get this done was really important, because I know that my head is not in its most perfect place ever, and to feel that I accomplished something, it's really important. So I have these, and I have some acknowledgements for special people, to Susanna for being such an important person and to help me this much. I really love her. Patricia, because she's amazing, she's an amazing person, and she helped me, and she doesn't like to pose for photos, and she did. Margarida, because she helped me, she has always been there to go on. We also have a photography group on our work, and that I organized, and it is very fun, because all that group helped me to have all the will to do that. And then Joanna, also a very, very old friend from 25 years ago, and she was the one that made me start photographing at all. Before that I didn't have any idea, any interest in photography. So you can see here that in the cover there is also again that dead floating pigeon, which is kind of sad, and it's a baby pigeon. So this is something that is going on in my life. It has took some time. I made the photos last year, and I spent a lot of time this year just organizing this. It was my first time. I went to Blurb website, I tried to do that. That's how it is. Okay, it's not perfect. It would never be, but I get this sensation of accomplishing something, and it was really important for me to do this, so I wanted to share, and this is it. So sorry for this side tour from the channel. I will zoom in again and we'll return to our notebook. So this was a part of what's going on, and it was really a side view from this world, and sorry about that detour. I wanted to talk about something else. Let me try to see what I've written here. So what's going on also, I did that magazine. It took me a lot of time, a lot of energy, but I really wanted to do that project, and I really wanted to have the word to those really important people in my life. That's a way that I can say that you're important. And also in my work, now in August, work decreases a little bit, but I still have some work to do, and I tend to try to work more in this time of year because it gets easier, less people around, people on holidays, lots of work. I didn't have holidays for a long time. Last year's holidays were awful because really I used my holidays to move to a new home, and it was all about moving and have construction done. So I really had no rest, and then I had a very, very terrible period in December when I had a week off. So I can say that I'm without real holidays for more than a year, and it will take a little bit more to take them. So I'm really tired, and you can see that on the channel, but I'm not that creative, and I'm not that productive also. Now, I realized I forgot something to bring here to the table. Bad planning, lack of concentration. I'll be right back. Here I am again. It was just a 30-second break, so I could get to my bedroom and find in the middle of everything else 3 pens, but I got them. And this is an item that is important. So let me just put some stuff on paper just to make, this is about pens, let me put pens writing. So what happened is the magazine, something said about sadness, and it's not necessarily a sad thing. Maybe the pictures are sad, but it's not that the idea. Then work and being tired. And the other thing that I want to say is pens coming back. So I've been noticing that, at least that's my perspective, I see that some pens are getting back, some pens are getting more and more popular. They are appearing more in some videos. I've seen that on Doodlebud, on Woski Squirrel, and some more, that people, I'm not saying they are discovering the pens or rediscovering, but I think they are looking at the pen in a different way, and these particular pens are coming back, and the model is the Waterman Carène, and the Waterman Carène is a very, very pretty pen. I really like it. So what we have as the Carène, you have a metal pen that is lacquered. Some have these metal plated caps, which this one is very beautiful, black with that silver colored springy clip with this typical shape of Waterman. Very beautiful nib. I think this nib is really focused. Again, this is really beautiful nib, an 18 karat gold nib. I think it's 18 karat, I cannot read it. Yes, it is an 18 karat gold nib. A very beautiful pen, cartridge converter. You can see there. and it is amazing. I really like this pen. I think it's beautiful. I got this in used condition in a store here in Lisbon, and people are getting more and more over this pen. I really think it's a very nice design, and this pen is, for me, I talked about this before, and maybe if you want I can make a video about that, but please let me know, give me ideas. I think that when, I think it was, I need to check dates, but I think it was around year 2000 that Parker, Waterman and Rotring merged together. And at that time, many collectors said, oh, these modern pens are not worth it at all, they are junk, they are ugly, and so on. I have to say that I don't think so. I have a very different idea of them. I think that was a very amazing creative period. I think by the end of that period, the only thing that I regret really very much is that they discontinued the Parker 45, to me one of the best Parker models ever made. But we had the Parker 100, which I think it was an amazing evolution of the Parker 51. We had these variations of the Parker Duofold, which were not that popular. There was the Parker Inflection. There were some models that were really interesting. The design was interesting. It's not plain design, and people didn't like it. One of the designs that came from this new Rubbermaid brand was the Waterman Carène. There was also the Waterman Serenité. I think it was the Serenité, which was a pen that was a curved one with a very Japanese inspiration. It was very beautiful pen, very expensive, but very beautiful. The Carène, which I think it's beautiful. This profile of pen, the shape of the nib, how simple it is. This is really beautiful. And there was also the very expensive that I got, and that you can see it in previous videos, in the previous Friday Night Pen Thoughts, the Waterman Edson, which is beautiful, astonishing pen, and people didn't care much about that, and I think now they are reviving these models. Actually, Waterman is still making the Carène under several variations, so this is one of the variations you can get. I think this one is kind of a current one, with a metal cap in metal collar and then the lacquered barrel, but I got this one used. I got this one also used, so there was also silver trim. This is a very simple one, gray, also gold nib, the same kind of design, and I really like it. And one day I have to make a video about something that I really enjoy, which are pens that have a breather hole quite close to the tip, and Pilot has even better examples that allow us to take ink from shallow containers of ink. And this one, this is my favorite. This was my first. It was a hell to find it. It was very hard. This is the coral red version. This is my favorite, my first, as I told you. This was bought new. I went to a store in Lisbon downtown. It no longer exists, and I had to go there because I saw these. Back then, I saw this in a paper catalog, it was not online. And in that paper catalog, because some stores already knew me and sometimes they lended me some catalogs to take home and to look at them, and I saw this pen in this color, so I really wanted to have it, and I asked them, and they needed to make an order. It took more than a month to come, but then I got this coral red pen. I'm usually quite kind of discreet in my real life, but in my pen life, sometimes I like some bold colors in some things, and this is a bold color that I like, the coral red. I also like yellow pens, so that's me. And what I was, all these just about what's going on. Do you think that there are some pens that are coming back? I really think that the Waterman Carène, sorry, I went all French now, is coming back in a way. I think pen reviewers, pen people are rediscovering this pen, finding it amazing, interesting, writes well, and it has a beautiful design. And sometimes design is not just about design. It's about being beautiful, because sometimes you have pens like, let me pick up these Asvin. It is an interesting pen, but it is a pen that is similar to many others. I'm not saying it is a bad design. It is clearly inspired in the Pilot 843, no, 823 with the vacuum filler. It's a beautiful pen, I'm not saying that, but sometimes you can see some design elements that are really different, like the Kaweco Sport, like the Visconti Homo Sapiens, the Waterman Carène. It's their own design. It's not just another pen, it is a pen that was designed on purpose to look like this. And I like that thought about pens. I'm not saying that I don't like sometimes imitations. You know that I have lots of Parker, I'm not sure, maybe I have 10 Parker Duofold, real Parker Duofold, and then I have a kind of a big collection of maybe 20 pens inspired or replicating the Parker Duofold, because I like them. I like the original and kind of the copy. I think they are interesting, so I like the model. But so I'm not saying that I don't like when they start just to imitate, because sometimes fun things come out of that, but this is really their unique design. And I think by that time, around 2000 or 2003, Parker and Waterman had great designers making some nice pens that were not given the right appreciation back then. So if you want, let me know on the comments what do you think about this, if you think they are coming back or if it's just on my mind. Some other points. Okay, the Kaweco Sport model, okay, and you know that it is impossible to have a video made by me where I don't speak about Kaweco Sports more than once, is reaching their 100th anniversary. And so they are releasing soon, I think September or October, a pen that is called Kaweco Ebonit Sport. Although it's written Ebonit, maybe in German it's Ebonit, in Portuguese it is Ebonit with an E on the end. This has no E. And it is an interesting pen made of ebonite with a steel nib. It has a different paper presentation box, looking like a vintage pen. I'm really interested in them. I already contacted Kaweco to see if they can send me one, because I would really like it, of course, for my collection, but also to show you here on the channel. I will leave links below for stores where you can buy the pen. So at least there are 2 or 3 stores that already have them for pre-order, so I will leave links below if you want to check them. And I think it's a beautiful pen, but the problem is that it's made of ebonite. It is a limited edition, yes, but it costs 375 euros. So, is it expensive? Yes, it is. Is it too expensive? Maybe, but I'm not sure. Maybe it is too expensive, but what is too expensive? Do you think that Kaweco is not following the global trend in fountain pen world? I think they are not that off of the market. So it's expensive, I know that, but instead you're getting some Chinese pens, some Pilot pens, some Gravitas pens, because they also make very interesting stuff, but in a low price. And you can also have the cheap plastic Kaweco pens, but I think overall the pens are getting very, very expensive, and the step up is crazy, because I'm not saying this one, because this was a limited and special edition, the Pinstripe, but The Parker Centennial Duofold used to be maybe 5 years ago around 400 euros, which is not inexpensive, of course, but now it's around 600 euros, or I've seen for, no, sorry. I've seen for 600, I've seen some models for 800, modern models, and even a special edition they made for their 100th anniversary also, I think, that cost 1,300 euros. I think it was something like that. So it's a price up for more than the double or even 3 times the regular price. I think that is crazy, and I think many brands are following that. So some people say that Kaweco is gone mad, but is that Kaweco mad, or they are just following a kind of a madness trend? Maybe there are lots of factors involved in this, not just the brands or the profit, lots of stuff happening. But what I wanted to ask you is, do you think that theme is interesting? If it is, maybe I can make 1 or 2 videos about, of course I can promise, as I told you there, but I can think of making videos about pen value and pen cost, because I think that may be an interesting subject. And if you think it is, please let me know on the comments below, because that's at the end, that's on the comments that I will see the answers to these questions, and that's where I can find the ideas for future videos. Okay, now we'll go for something that is very different. And the broad question about this is right here. And what about pencils? And what about pencils? I will talk about a specific thing. I know it's these fountain pens, so I'm not really talking specifically about fountain pens anymore until the end of the video, just general subjects. So if you don't want to watch, you know that it's not really about fountain pens itself. But I think these are also interesting aspects of collecting and writing, and I want to share them with you. So I want to talk about pencils or advertisement or advertising. There are some fountain pens that were made for advertisement purposes, and I should have 3 pens. Okay, I have them here. So there are pens that are co-branded with some brand just to promote it. I have here a Kaweco AL Sport Raw, which is for the watch company NOMOS Glashütte. I also have another very similar model, but the end logo is different. One has the logo of NOMOS and the other one has the logo of Kaweco. Just kind of a secret, collector's secret. And we have this one, which is the Oris Swiss watches, and then it has the made in Taiwan, which is very strange there. But this is another version of a collaboration between a brand. It's not branded Kaweco here on the cap. It's there, but not on the engraving on the sides of on the facets of the cap. And these are created to promote another brand, Oris. Really, maybe they are not created to promote, but like a gift that goes with a very expensive watch. Maybe, not sure, but let's talk about this like advertisement. Sometimes pens are used for that. I also have here a Lamy CP1 with a very beautiful, I don't know if I can show you, beautiful color. It is eggplant color. By the way, may I tell you a strange secret? One of the sexiest words in my mind is the French word for eggplant. In English it's eggplant. In Portuguese is and I forgot. Berinjela, which is not beautiful. Berinjela. In Spanish, it's very similar to Portuguese, berenjena, but in French it is called, and it is called also in English for describing the color, it is aubergine. And I think aubergine is a very, very sexy word. I don't know why, I just love to hear the sound of aubergine. So, doesn't matter. This aubergine, eggplant colored, kind of purplish Lamy CP1 was not a regular edition, this color, for Lamy CP1, but it is kind of a promotion thing for Mercedes. So sometimes fountain pens are used for that, but because they are more expensive items, generally, they are not that much used for that purpose. Usually, what we get as promotional stuff is, or advertisement stuff, are ballpoint pens, but I don't like ballpoints that much. So we have some here, have this one from ANSES, which is the French Food Safety Authority. I know this is not interesting for you, but the Marriott hotels, the Delta cafes, so coffee, Portuguese brand of coffee, Ferragens Roda, which is a hardware store with a nice calendar inside, just for fun, and also a very hard to find ballpoint pen, a Kaweco Sport for Microsoft. So this is the this one is not usual, not at all usual, but all the other ones are very usual. So you can see this is a big pen, so it is similar to all the other big pens, and sometimes you get these with this hotel name and some others with other hotel names. So just they change colors and the engraving, but these are the usual promotional items that you get. But now I think mostly when you go to some congresses or meetings or scientific meetings that I go sometimes, and even to some hotels, there is more thought about some parts of the environment, and they thinking why to give away some disposable plastic stuff, because the only part that you'll be using is that inside part, and when it is empty you just throw all these plastic thing away. You cannot refill it. And sometimes in congresses or hotels, this is from hotel here in Portugal in Aveiro, they are starting to give away pencils in the same way they did pens, just ballpoint pens just recently, because in a way it is renewable, I'm not sure how you can say that, material. It can be sustainable if the trees to give the wood are planted in a sustainable way. So, and you really use up the whole thing, at least until you're just that size. So you can use this whole object for the goal it has, which is to write with. So it's more interesting to give away pencils now than ballpoint pens. There are other promotional items. I have one here that's very, very special to me, and I know today I'm going away from the theme a lot, which is this one. This is Gilles, because this was mascotte da Expo 98, which it means it was made for Gilles, and Gilles was the mascot. I'm not sure how to say that in English. So the kind of the toyish figure that represented this Expo 98, and Expo 98 was the world exhibition that occurred in Lisbon in 98. It was dedicated to the oceans, so it was quite a breakthrough because people are not talking so much about ocean preservation as they are now, and it was all about that, and it was really, really important. And I remember being there, and it was really amazing and exciting times for the ones who lived in Lisbon. By this time I was 20 years, I was 19. I went there several times. It was really some magic environment, and it's crazy that 25 years gone by. So nowadays you can still find some, but let's go vintage. I'll try not to make a lot of noise or mess about that. I have here this Centennial box, but it's not about Centennial, and I'll try to zoom out a little bit. Okay, maybe this is zoomed out enough, I hope. So what happened is that in January my grandmother died, and I got these, sorry, I get to put this this way. I got her, or my grandfather's, so this grandmother was the wife of my grandfather that had the Parker 51 that I showed several times here on the channel. And I have here, this is an old collection, maybe from the 50s, 60s or 70s. I didn't try to date all these items, but these were interesting writing instruments because they were pencils and they were used to advertise products. This was to for restaurants to make a recommendation of drinking carvalhelhos water, which is a Portuguese water. This is for Cabo Verdeana cafés, so for coffees. And there was really lots of things here. This one is about hardware. This is from port wine. This is plastic ink to paint walls. This one is not even sharpened. This is for how can I say that? I can't remember, but fruit jams. So we have lots of things. Aguardente, so liquor. Lots of things here were made. This is a insurance company. So there were some interesting things here, and I want to show some particular stuff about them. So you would have things like this. Ferguson, the king of radio and TV items. This is the distributor, which is called the Illuminante, which means like the lighting one, from Porto and Coimbra here in Portugal. So you would see these kind of stuff in this very big size. So some of them were, I don't think you should use a pencil like that. I don't have much room here to show, but it is just gigantic. Look, the Parker Duofold and the size of the pencil. You could almost cut it in half and use it. I think these were used much like a fun item, like a novelty that you would have on your counter or something else, because they are just gigantic. This is also from insurance company. This one is from enamels and varnishes. So it's very fun because they are old things. So there were these kind of just promotional items, and I would call them really promotional items. There were then these things that I would call that they are usable pencils, not these big things. This one is insecticides, fungicides, herbicides, and reticides. I don't know, so if you say that like that, it's to kill mouses and rats. Then you would have these electric stuff, wines, woodworking, so lots of things. And you can see these are big pens and big pencils. These are regular sized pencils. These are the ones that you usually use. And there was also something that I love to see here, which is these smaller ones. This is also for liquors and alcohol. Tio Sousa, which means Uncle Sousa. And they are smaller pencils. They are much thinner. And these ones could also be used. And I have one here at the side. Let me grab it. It's even thinner. It's this one. And it's made, by the way, by a company called Viarco, Portuguese brand of pencils, that is still around, working in Porto and around near Porto, and they still make pencils and some other art supplies. So it's interesting. And this one was also an usable thing. Unusable, not unusable. And you can see this is a regular sized pencil. This is the oversized one, and this is the little one. These ones were used, you could have some really small notebooks or some agendas or little journals, and these would come into a pencil loop on the side, and they would be there. They are great for small notebooks. I will not use it, I think, because I think I will keep it like it is, but it is interesting. So I just wanted to show this pencil collection and ask you, what about pencils? Do you collect pencils, or do you know of some collectible promotional pencils like these in your country where you live in? So I will zoom in again and let's go for the final topic. And final topic is not about pens itself, but about reviewing pens. So I call it being a reviewer and personal struggles. My handwriting is awful, I know that already, and I don't really want to invest in changing it, not out of respect for all of you, but just because I think it's my way. So, about this I have some things written in another sheet on the side, that this is a topic that I think that I should address, and maybe I will address it in its own video. But I think it is something that is important for me. Some of you follow my videos in a very comprehensive way, because I have some people that comment almost all my videos, so I know they watch them all, which is kind of amazing. And somehow I think it's fair that I disclose some of this stuff. So maybe I'll make a video one day about this whole theme. And I just want to make a disclaimer right away, is that I'm not complaining. What I will be doing next is not complaining. It's just, let me put just a pen here so it doesn't look even like a pen channel. But I think you should not see this like complaining, but just a way, that's how it is, the pros and cons of it. So, when people think about pen reviewing, one of the things people think is about the glamour of that. And when I'm talking about glamour, I'm not talking about this fun little ugly thing, which is the platinum glamour. I'm talking about glamour itself. So people think about the glamour of being a YouTuber. I don't consider myself a YouTuber. I do reviews on YouTube. But there are several parts of it. So people, about the glamour, people think that you can have some exposure on YouTube, you can get famous and so on. I don't really think about that. That's not the way that I approach this activity. And if you know me for some time, you know that I don't even show my face on my videos. I did it once because Joost Appelboom from Appelboom Store asked me to do that for my his 3-pen series videos, and I thought I could do that, but I don't know how many videos I have, maybe 1,000. I'm not sure if I got there already, but if I have 1,000 videos, how many I only showed my face in one of them. I don't really like to be known in that way. So it's just not that. So you may think about that's an idea, but it's for some, not for me. And I'm not criticizing who shows, because if you show, it's not bad at all, because you create an extra layer of connection with the viewer. If you look at someone's eyes when they are making the videos, it's completely different, the engagement, and you get some more views and more followers. But it's what it is. I'm not criticizing. My way of doing stuff is not like that. I don't really like to show up on videos. I was thinking about making a video that I could show my face again, but it will not be the standard. It will be exception. Then we have the collectively we have the idea that we are all contacted by all the brands all the time just to promote their pens, and they give us away amazing stuff. No, it's not true. It's quite the opposite. You have to contact a lot of pens, a lot of pen makers, a lot of brands, and yes, sometimes you get amazing stuff. Sometimes it does happen, and I have that connection with Kaweco, and it's not like just a commercial connection with Kaweco. They give me their stuff and I say good things about them. It was the opposite. I got in love with Kaweco, then I contacted them and they thought they could do that to me. So it is interesting. It is a connection that we really have, because I really love their products, and sometimes I may be a little biased through their products, but it's not because of them, it's because I really like them. I may not be as objective talking about Kaweco as I may be talking about Jinhao, for example. And they don't, usually the brands, they don't reach us with, or me, with lots of free stuff just to promote every time, because this is a very small channel. I have 6,000 subscribers, and most of pen channels are small. And if they focus on 2 main channels, and I will name them, there's nothing wrong about it, SBR Brown and Fig Button Pens, they have amazing followers. They have a huge amount of followers, they have lots of videos, they are doing this for a long time. So if they promote many of their pens just next to these, let's call them influencers, they'll have a lot more of return of income than if they talk to me or some other smaller YouTuber. So it's quite normal. They just give away more products to that specific people, and even those, they buy many of the products that they are using, and sometimes are just on loan. So it's not all that glamorous as some people think. Again, another topic, lots of income. You make YouTube videos and you earn a lot of money. Not really. At least with the size of my channel. It's not that money at all. And if you are having a year like my last few years, you're not posting that much, the income goes down a lot, and you don't get a living out of it. And there are lots of barriers for it. First, there is a part of your work. You can be better, you can get more subscribers, more followers, you can be more interesting, you can show up with your face, you can do all the stuff and that's on you, how regularly you post and so on. But there is some part that's not on you. For example, because I am in Portugal and I'm outside the United States, I have to pay upfront. So they take away, when they make the payment, already 24% of all that I have, all that I gain on YouTube. So if you are a United States YouTuber, then you have to pay your taxes at the end, of course, but they won't charge you upfront 24%. To me, they take immediately 24% of my income, which is a lot. And then I have to pay the taxes here in Portugal, and taxes here in Portugal are very high, because Portugal it's a wonderful country for people to come from abroad to visit, to live, and so on, when they have high incomes from outside, but it's very difficult to live here. And now there are some people making some construction work, and I can hear some hammering. Maybe you'll hear it also, but I can't do anything to avoid that. So Portuguese taxes, it's crazy. You don't really get that much money. Of course, when you have some programs, affiliate programs like I have with Appleboom, when you see links that go to Appleboom store, I will have a percentage of the sale, but otherwise it's not that interesting. The money is not the main thing. Maybe if you had a channel for products for babies, or about marriage, or things that everybody goes into, or cell phones, or I don't know, you could have a much bigger income, a much bigger audience. This is just a niche audience, fountain pens, and beyond that you also have those legal and tax stuff. Of course, not is all that bad. I have, although I don't have those brands, I have mostly Kaweco, but some companies really do collaborate with me, like Kaweco and Great Fountain in Italy. I also used to have some relation with Tibaldi and with Montegrappa, and sometimes with Leonardo, but sometimes things are difficult to keep going because you get no longer that important, and then the companies decided that they not to want to promote the stuff themselves. They prefer to promote it through the retailers, because the retailers are earning the money, and some retailers do support YouTubers, but you need to be lucky with the country and with the retailers. I have to say that I'm lucky mostly with 3 of them, which is Appleboom, as you know, in the Netherlands. They are the 3 from the Netherlands. I can't do anything with Portuguese companies. They just don't work. So I have with Appleboom, I have with Ackerman Amsterdam, they help me a lot, and also with Fontoplumo, also in the Netherlands, because they also support me a lot with some editions and many informations, and they are always available to discuss with me some interesting items, some interesting ideas and informations that I would not get otherwise. Another myth that goes around creating videos is that videos are easy to make. You just go there and press the record button and you just talk. Okay, I'm talking for a long time now, this video will be too big, some people will fall asleep. That's how it is, but I need to talk a little bit today. It's not that easy. It's not just hitting the record button. I don't do almost no editing at all. I know that in English I put too many no's in the same phrase, but in same sentence, but that's it. I don't edit much my videos, but there are people that do a lot, like David from Figboot on Pens. He makes very professional videos, and before him there was Matt Armstrong, who had that channel, no longer has, the Pen Habit, where he made, really, it looks like a TV show about pens. It was really professional stuff with different cameras, perfect lighting, perfect sound. It was amazing. It was like it was recorded in a studio. It's not the way that I do stuff. I'm much more messy, but anyway, there is lots of things. I don't spend much time on editing, and I don't do the scripts. I saw that David from Fig Button Pens, he makes the full scripts and he reads them when he's talking, and it's better because he speaks more coherently than I do, and I should do it even mostly because I don't speak English as my native language, so it would be better, but that's what I do. But I know that I spend a lot of time researching about what I talk about. I like to talk some things about history, about some comparisons. Some things are not that obvious and they take a lot of time. And also, when I make these videos, when you think about it, remember the amount of stuff that I bring to the table. How many pens I already showed you during this video, and now I'm remembering that I forgot to show you something, but I'll show it at the end. No problem. So I wanted to tell you that I have lots of pens here on the table. I have to go through my collection to think which pens will match which idea, what can illustrate better. So there is a lot of work, and there is also one major thing. And again, I'm not complaining, I'm just saying, which is motivation. I really admire, and I may say that I envy people like Chris Rap 52, who makes videos very often. Wasky Squirrel makes videos, but sometimes he has to stop for a while, but then he makes a lot of videos again, and he's really my favorite pen channel. And we have another channel, an ink guy. He makes videos every day, or it's amazing how people can have that kind of motivation. I just can't, and I think that is amazing to have that kind of resilience to do. And now, this is kind of a personal part that maybe my motivation is now a big issue. I think I told some of this stuff before, but last year was a very hard time for me because I got divorced. I had to move home. While I was running, I fell, I injured my knee. I had a very, very ugly wound here for a long time. Many things went wrong in my emotional life. Then in January, my grandmother died, and there are lots of things that affect us. And I think this is affecting me a lot. And I would like to make videos more often, but I just can't. I don't have the energy, I don't have the motivation, and it is sad. I just wanted to go here and come here and record, and it's not that easy. It's being really hard, really, really hard. There are some people that talk about burnout when you create content for social media, but sometimes people have that burnout is that they are trying to attain an objective. They are trying to be very professional. They are trying to grow their money or their influence. It's not that. I don't think I have a burnout about pens, because I really want to do a lot of stuff and I have ideas all the time. Oh, I could make a video about that, but when I think about it, I just can't have the energy to do that. And it's quite sad because I really want it, and I know that I've been failing to you all because you keep watching my videos, and for most time since last year, the most that I've been doing is just unboxing videos. Okay, when I make an unboxing, I show some pen comparisons and I talk a little bit about the pens and their history, but it's not enough. And I've been failing in that way, but I just can't give more. I'm sorry, but I just don't have that energy. One good example was the Diamine Inkvent calendar for 2022. When I ordered it, I have an order with some other products got delayed, and I got this delayed. Here, the Inkvent calendar. I got it out of the time. So it was not, I didn't have the time to make those videos that I made 2 years before, which were about opening each little door of the Inkvent calendar, one video per day. Of course, I needed to record them all before, lots of work, and I didn't have the time to do it, okay, because the package arrived too late. But even so, when you look at my Inkvent calendar, look at this. This is kind of sad. It makes me sad. It's not that I need more ink, but all the calendar is still closed. I didn't open it yet. And yes, I kind of excited to see what is in there. I didn't watch the videos about it, just not get to still have some surprise about it, but I didn't have the energy to start opening that. And it's sad, and I feel sad with myself because of that. So I'll try to do my best, and I will try to just that, try to do my best. Another thing that I feel guilty about is that I have maybe thousands of comments more than 1 year ago that I didn't reply to them, and I really read them and I like to reply, but when I think about getting through all them again, the energy falls and I can't do that. So maybe this is because my head is in a bad place right now, and it's very hard for me to do that. But as I told you, I am very motivated to come back, and I really want to do this. And I'll try, because there are lots of fun things. When you are making videos as a YouTuber, you got to, at least that I like to do that, you get to study stuff. You get to go into some design stuff. You go into some engineering. You get into some history perspective of things. You need to research a lot. Sometimes there are information, sometimes there isn't. You need to search for it, and that's really amazing and interesting to do. I really like to do it. And so that's very exciting. And there is also another thing that is very exciting. If you love these, you love pens, you love to have the chance to try pens. And because of this channel, I got the chance to try pens that I wouldn't try any other way. If Kaweco didn't send me these, it now has a wonderful patina, this wonderful Kaweco Sterling Sport, which is tremendously expensive, I would never got it. So I'm very fortunate that I have such a pen in my collection. They gave it to me. I could keep 1,500 euros pen, and I wouldn't have it any other way. And I was fortunate to have it. So it is amazing. I get to choose. I get to try other pens. Again, with the partnership with mostly Apple Bloom, I get lots of pens for loan. So I can try pens without paying. I have to send them back. That's real. But I can try stuff that I wouldn't buy. So this is amazing. So this is an amazing part. Another amazing part is the community and the relationships that we create. Sometimes we say, but relationships, when we're talking about digital media, they are not real. In a way they are. I know many of the people that comment here. I know that we have a very good Esterbrook expert here on the group. I know that I have a fellow admirer of some yellow pens and some vintage Aurora pens, and we have some nice discussion about these, and he makes always long comments that I really enjoy. I got to know some other YouTubers that comment on my channel, I comment on them, so it's very fun. But there's also some other thing. I know these people because I really know them through the social part, but there is also the other ones. I made one friend here in Lisbon, Luis. He also created a pen channel, but then he quit because there is some work involved. But I knew him about pens, and he also loves photography, so sometimes we get together and we go for a walk and talk a lot of pens and photography and so on, and that's amazing. So it was a real relationship that was created through this. If he didn't know me, he reached me, and we made kind of a Portuguese group of fountain pens. So this is really amazing because you get really get networks. There is also a viewer that she's very nice. She is also into pens and birds, which is something that I also like. And once that I said that I found one of my favorite inks, it was the first Diamine ink vent calendar, a glittery, shimmering ink, how it was, Solstice, which I love to put on my Benu Euphoria Caviar. It's a perfect match. She knew that, and she bought a full bottle instead of that small sample that comes in the calendar. She bought a full bottle and gave it to me because I said on my channel that I liked it. And it's fun because you create a relation, and she even said that she sometimes uses these videos to hear, sorry, I hit the camera, they are helpful in a way to hear the voice, to let her fall asleep. And it's kind of fun. Maybe it means that I'm just very dull and annoying and she gets sleepy, or otherwise it's fun. It's kind of a familiar connection. I also have a friend that I connected with from Brazil. He came here once in holidays. We spoke a lot. We already even exchanged pens. I gave him my Monte Grappa Zodiac, and he gave me his Visconti Homo Sapiens. So it's interesting. It's really interesting because you had real connections. I love that. And I also have some very light, superficial relationships that I really enjoy also. People sending me messages asking me, I'll be in Portugal, can you recommend me a place to go or a place to find pens or something to visit? And I love to do that. I love to help people in that way. And even in the last week, I met, or this week, I can't remember, I met Leopoldo from Leopoldo Comunitas Stilográfica, from, I cannot speak that correctly because it is an Italian collective channel. He's Portuguese, but he lives in Italy, and the channel is in Italian, and he came here and we met. So it's fun because you really met other people that love this stuff. So overall, this is fun. And when you think about the glamour of being a YouTuber, I would say, or at least a pen reviewer, forget about that. It's not about the glamour. I think it's all about the passion. You have the passion or you don't. And you have the passion, you can just write and use your pens and enjoy them the most and see other people's videos, or you can start making your own. That's what I did. I really wanted to do more than I currently do, but the problem is my motivation. Maybe, I have to admit, maybe there are some mental health problems here. Last year was very hard on me, and many reasons. Overall, that's what I told you, but with some variations. It was very hard, and so I've been failing in the channel, but I really want to do this, and this is one of my passions. I love to do this. I love to share my ideas. I love to be able to show a part of myself This is just only a part of myself that I show here, but it is myself. I'm not playing a character. This is me. This is a part of me. This is the pen nerd guy that loves all this stuff. So this would be the end of the video, but because I messed up with my notes there on the side, I forgot to do one thing that I always make, and I'm running out of things for that, which is the uncommon, and we'll end up with this one, uncommon pen of the day. And sorry about putting it here, it should not be here. And it will be the Leonardo Officina Italiana Messenger. And do you know that pen? Maybe not. Is that uncommon? No, it's not an uncommon pen, but it is uncommon on its ideas, on its genesis, let's call it like that. The pen is this one. This is the orange version. There was many other versions, many other colors. I'm not sure, 5 or 7 colors, I don't remember. It is a limited edition, so it's kind of special because it's limited, and you have a number there on the cap. There, can you see it? No, you can't. It was upside down. Oh, now, there, my number is number 6 from 366. So this is what makes the pen a little bit uncommon in my way, in my perspective, because it's not that uncommon, but it is limited. It was one of the initial productions from Leonardo. I think this material is very beautiful. I really like it. They were still using Bock nibs most of the time, and in this pen they switched for Jowo nibs, but by the time Jowo still had that scroll work on the nibs, and that you see there, now they are plain. So there are some differences here. It's interesting. It is a cartridge converter pen. It's very well made. It's a very nice pen. It's not anything that's special, but beautiful, and it's very good everyday work pen. So it is kind of uncommon that way. But the thing that I think makes it more not uncommon but interesting, and that's what made me put it here, it's because, as you saw, this is a limited edition, 6 from 366. There were 366 pens of each of the finishes or the colors. And there were 366 because this was a limited edition that was made for the year 2000, which was a leap year with 366 days. And what about that? It's kind of fun because when the year started and they launched the collection 2020, I think I said, I don't know if I said the wrong year before, maybe I said year 2000, I didn't meant to. So in the year 2020, for which this was made, in that year it was kind of, wow, we are reaching a new milestone. 2020 will be amazing, leap year, Olympic Games and amazing pens and interesting future. And it was the year that we got hit with COVID-19 pandemic, and I think it was really a terrible year for most of us. And it's fun to have a pen that is celebrating, without knowing that would be so bad, to have a special pen celebrating a year that was just a mess all over the world. But in a way, it's fun. I like to have this pen, and I would just love it. It had also engraved there year 2020, just to know where it came from. But doesn't matter. I know it was from that year, and it promised a lot, and it didn't. And for me, this pen has some meaning in that way, because it could be amazing, and I don't think the world is not that hopeful as it was in the start of 2020. Just my opinion. And so, this is all I had to show you today, and this video is awfully long, I know that, but it's to compensate the time that I spend without making videos. So I have to thank you so much for watching. I think it is amazing to have you all there, and thank you. Thank you so much for your continuous support, and also thank you again for the understanding of most of you about my incapacity of making the videos you are expecting me to make. So this was Friday Night Pen Thoughts number 28. I hope I'll be back to number 29 soon, because this is really something that I have passion for. See you next time. Bye.